Okay, students, welcome to the class. Today I will discuss about nucleic acids. This is one of the topic in biomolecules. The nucleic acids are of two types, DNA and RNA. DNA full form is deoxyribonucleic acid. RNA full form is ribonucleic acid. Every cell contains all these things, DNA and RNA. Now we have to discuss what is this deoxyribose and what are the nucleic acids, all those things. A DNA contains deoxyribose sugar, or simply you can call it as ribose sugar, and a nitrogen base and a phosphate group. DNA contains deoxyribose sugar, nitrogen base and a phosphate group. Here I have shown this ribose. First we will go discuss about the RNA. After that we will look at this DNA. RNA is ribonucleic acid. In ribonucleic acid, a ribose sugar is present. A ribose sugar is present, and the nitrogen bases are present. The phosphate group is present. Look at this ribose sugar. First, we have to discuss what is the ribose sugar. 5 carbons having carbohydrate is the ribose sugar. 5 carbons having carbohydrate is the ribose sugar. Here, how many carbons are there? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons are there. These 5 carbons having ribose sugar is written in the furanose form. Is written in cyclic furanose form. These 5 carbons having ribose sugar is drawn in furanose form. In this furanose form, the second carbon OH, second carbon have the OH group, third carbon have the OH group at the bottom. In this first carbon have the OH group at the above of the plane. So if OH group is the groups which are present above of this Haworth form, the groups which are present at the above of Haworth form is represented at left side in Fischer projection. Is represented at left side in Fischer projection. So this one is present at the left side. So in Fischer projection, if you want to draw the projection of this ribose sugar, this ribose sugar appears like this: CH2OH. This is first carbon OH, H. This first carbon is bonded with fourth carbon with an glycosidic linkage. First carbon is bonded with fourth carbon with a glycosidic linkage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth carbon. This first carbon OH group is present in the left side. When OH group is present at the left side, then you have to call this ribose sugar as beta. So it is beta. So this is a beta ribose. This is beta ribose. I have not shown the other groups. Now I am writing the other groups also. Second group has OH group at the bottom of the Haworth structure. So in Fischer projection, they are represented at the right side. They are represented at the right side. So I placed this OH group at the right side. So this is H, and this is H. This is the ribose sugar. Okay. This same ribose sugar is represented as a furanose form in Haworth structures. In this Haworth structure, the OH group is present above the plane, So when OH group is present above the plane, you have to write that one as beta. So beta D, beta D, oxyribose. Or simply can take this one as a ribose, beta D ribose sugar. So this is a carbohydrate. This is a sugar like glucose. Sugar is nothing but carbohydrate. Glucose is a carbohydrate. Glucose is sugar. This one ribose also is a carbohydrate. Ribose is a sugar. So this ribose contains 5 carbohydrates. But in case of DNA, we have deoxyribose, means one oxygen is eliminated from this ribose sugar. This is the ribose sugar. From this ribose sugar, when oxygen is eliminated, when O is eliminated, we get this deoxyribose sugar. Look at the configuration at the second carbon. Look at the configuration at the second carbon. And at the second carbon, we are not seeing OH group. OH group is absent. At the second carbon, OH group is absent. So when OH group is absent, then it is called deoxyribose. When OH group is absent, then it is called the deoxyribose sugar. At the second carbon, OH group is not there. Only H is there. So this is deoxy. Deoxy means oxygen is not there. Deoxyribose. In DNA, deoxyribose is present. In RNA, oxyribose is present. Next, come to the nitrogen base. These nitrogen bases are of two types: purines and pyrimidines. Nitrogen bases are of two types: purines and pyrimidines. Purines are adenine, guanine are called purines. Adenine, guanine are called the purines. Thymine, cytosine, uracil are called the pyrimidines. Thymine, cytosine, uracil are called the pyrimidines. These two are the nitrogen bases because these two structures, purines and pyrimidines, both contains nitrogen with a pair of electrons. Nitrogens with a pair of electrons. So when a pair of electrons are present on nitrogen, those electron pairs easily can donate to other things. The electron pair easily donates to other substance. The thing which donates an electron pair is known as bases. The thing which donates the electron pair are known as the bases. So these purines and pyrimidines both are nitrogen bases. So these things donate the electron pair to other substances. So these two things are called the nitrogen bases. Purines are adenine, guanine are the purines. Pyrimidines are thymine, cytosine and uracil are the pyrimidines. What kind of nitrogen bases are present in DNA? In DNA, the nitrogen bases are adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. These four nitrogen bases are present in DNA. In RNA, adenine, guanine, uracil, cytosine nitrogen bases are present. Adenine, guanine, uracil, cytosine nitrogen bases are present. So these are the major differences present of this DNA and RNA. Afterwards, we will discuss about the structure of DNA and structure of RNA. There we can see some structural changes in those two things. First, we have to go step by step. The first step is you have to look at the sugar, what kind of sugar is present in DNA and what kind of sugar is present in RNA. The second one is what are the nitrogen bases present in DNA, and you have to look at what are the nitrogen bases present in RNA. So both contains the phosphate. So this is This is about the basic structures, basic moieties present in the DNA and RNA. Next again we have to look at some other terminology also before going to the structure of DNA, and that one is nucleoside and nucleotides. Nucleoside and nucleotide. So what is meant by nucleoside? Sugar plus nitrogen base, combinedly known as nucleoside. Sugar plus nitrogen base, combinedly known as the nucleoside. Now I am going to tell you some of the nucleoside. Here the sugar is ribose sugar. The sugar is ribose sugar. Nitrogen base, adenine. If ribose sugar is bonded with adenine, the nucleoside is known as adenosine. The nucleoside is known as the adenosine. Now I am showing this adenosine in the form of its structure. This is the sugar. I am not going to represent all the groups present with this sugar. This is a ribose sugar. This ribose sugar, these carbons are represented with prime. 1 prime, that means first carbon, 2 prime, 3 prime, 4 prime, 5 prime carbons. This 1 prime carbon bonded with adenine. 1 prime carbon bonded with adenine nitrogen base. Maybe in your biology you have the structures, all those things. In this chapter there is no need for the structure. For your reference, in textbook they given the, not in textbook, in materials they given the structures also of this adenine bond and all those things. In textbook they are not given all these structures, so we don't need the structures of this adenine and all those things. Simply you have to know to which carbon this adenine is connected. To 1 prime carbon adenine is connected. Next come to the second one. When ribose sugar bonded with guanine, then the nucleoside formed is guanosine. When ribose sugar is bonded with thymine, then the nucleoside formed is known as thymidine. When when sugar bonded with cytosine, then the nitrogen, then this nucleoside is known as cytidine. When this ribose sugar bonded with uracil, then the nucleoside is known as uridine. So these are about the nucleosides. So how a nucleoside will you get a sugar when react with nitrogen base, then you get a nucleoside. When ribose sugar react with when ribose sugar is bonded with adenine, then you get adenosine. When ribose sugar is bonded with guanine, then you get the guanosine. When ribose sugar bonded with thymine, then you get the imidine. When ribose sugar is bonded with cytosine, then you get the cytidine. When ribose sugar bonded with uracil, then you get the uridine. So these are the nucleosides. Now we have to move towards the nucleotides. Next thing is nucleotide. How you will get a nucleotide? When ribose sugar bonded with nitrogen bases along with a phosphate group, then you get a nucleotide. Sugar, that means ribose sugar, a nitrogen base and a phosphate group is a nucleotide. Now I am going to show you a simple nucleotide, and that simple nucleotide is adenosine monophosphate. Adenosine monophosphate. You know this adenosine monophosphate, how this adenosine monophosphate will be showing you the structure of adenosine monophosphate. This is 1 prime carbon, 2 prime carbon, 3 prime carbon, 4 prime carbon, and this one is the 5 prime carbon. To this first 1 prime carbon, nitrogen base is attached. Maybe that one is adenine, and this what is 1 prime carbon of sugar, adenine is attached. Adenine nitrogen base is attached. And to the 5th carbon, a phosphate group also is attached. This is adenosine monophosphate. Adenosine monophosphate. This is adenosine monophosphate. Adding up to this part, adenosine, and another phosphate group is there. So this is adenosine monophosphate. This is an example for nucleotide. Adenosine monophosphate. Another example, adenosine diphosphate. Means how many phosphate groups are attached? 2 phosphate groups are attached. This is adenosine diphosphate. Next, another nucleotide is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate means another phosphate group is there. This is 1 phosphate, this is 2, and another phosphate group if present, then it is known as adenosine triphosphate. So this is adenosine triphosphate. 3 phosphate groups are there. These are the examples of nucleotides. These are the examples of nucleotides. And DNA or the RNA are the polymers of these are nucleotides. Okay, na? DNA and RNA. Are the polymers of these nucleotides. In DNA, 2 strands of nucleotides are present. In RNA, a single strand of nucleotide is present. Next we have to look at the structure of DNA. Structure of DNA. DNA contains double helical structure. DNA contains double helical structure. So this is double helical. This is an strand. This is another strand of nucleotide. Nucleotide means it contains sugar, nitrogen base. To the sugar, nitrogen base is attached, and again to this sugar, which group is attached? Phosphate. Again to this phosphate, sugar. Again to this sugar, phosphate. Again to this sugar. Again to this phosphate. Again to this sugar. Again to this phosphate. Again to this sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate. Like that, backbone of this DNA, that means this strand, backbone of the DNA is made with nitrogen, is made with nucleotides. Nucleotide contains sugar, nitrogen base, and a phosphate. So this is the sugar, this is the phosphate, and this is the nitrogen base. So every sugar is bonded with a nitrogen base and a phosphate. Here also nitrogen base. Here also a nitrogen base is present. Here also a nitrogen base. So DNA contains how many strands? DNA contains 2 strands. They are coiled in right hand side. DNA contains right hand side coiled helical structure. DNA contains right hand side coiled helical structure. DNA contains 2 strands. These strands are made with nucleotides. So DNA is the polymer of nucleotides. Now what I am doing is I am unfolding these strands. I am showing the 2 strands by unfolding these helical structures. So this is a strand, and this is the sugar moiety, and this one is bonded with phosphate. This is another sugar moiety, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, phosphate, sugar, like that. These sugar are bonded with nitrogen bases. So what kind of nitrogen bases these sugars are bonded? So in DNA, what are the nitrogen bases present? Adenine, guanine, cytosine, and thymine. These are the nitrogen bases present in the sugar, present in the DNA. So, for example, I am taking this sugar is bonded with adenine. This sugar is bonded with guanine. This sugar is bonded with cytosine, and this sugar is bonded with thymine. And this sugar again bonded with taking adenine, guanine, and taking guanine. Now come to the another strand. This strand also made with the nucleotide. Here also you can see the nucleotide strands. So this is sugar moiety. bonded phosphor, sugar, phosphate group, sugar, phosphate group, and again sugar. So backbone of DNA is made with nucleotide. This nucleotide is made of a sugar moiety, a phosphate group, and a nitrogen base. Suppose this sugar is bonded with which nitrogen base? For adenine, the complementary base is thymine. For guanine, the complementary base is cytosine. Means whenever an adenine group is present, opposite that one always you can see the thymine. So an adenine always bonded with thymine group, an adenine always bonded with thymine group, and guanine always bonded with cytosine, and cytosine always bonded with guanine, and thymine always bonded with adenine, and guanine always bonded with cytosine. So like this, so this up to this part, sugar, phosphate group, adenine, nucleotide. This is a nucleotide. This is a nucleotide. This is a nucleotide. This part is a nucleotide. This is a nucleotide. Sugar, phosphate group, and nitrogen base. So all these nucleotides connected and forms a polymeric chain, which is the backbone of DNA. So backbone of DNA. The strands are made with sugar and phosphorus. The strands are made with sugar and phosphorus. DNA is the polymer of nucleotide. So now what happens is, these two strands are connected by these nitrogen bases through hydrogen bondings. These two strands are connected by nitrogen bases through hydrogen bondings. Between adenine and thymine, two hydrogen bondings are possible. Between adenine and thymine, two hydrogen bondings are possible. Between guanine and cytosine, three hydrogen bondings are possible. So you have to remember all these things. What are the complementary pairs of adenine? For adenine, the complementary pair is thymine. Means the adenine always bonded with thymine only. It is not going to bonded with either to cytosine or to guanine. So always adenine is going to hydrogen bonded with thymine. The complementary pair of adenine is thymine. The complementary pair of thymine is adenine. So what is the complementary pair of guanine? It is cytosine. What is the complementary pair of cytosine? It is guanine. Next, sugar. So here also an cytosine group is there. This cytosine group is hydrogen bonded with guanine. Here also we can see three hydrogen bondings. Look at here. Here two hydrogen bondings. Like this. Hydrogen bonds are present. Between adenine and thymine, two hydrogen bonds are present. Between guanine and cytosine, three hydrogen bonds are present. After formation of all these hydrogen bondings, these two strands of DNA going to helical, that is going to twist it. Okay, this is going to twist it in what direction? In right hand side direction. So suppose you consider this as a ladder. So just twist in right hand direction. Just twist in right hand direction. Then you get the then you get the helical structure of this DNA. So in DNA, what kind of twistings, what kind of helical is present? Right hand side twisted helical is present, also known as alpha helical form. Alpha, also known as the alpha helical form. When you untwist these helical structures, you will see the structure like this. Okay, so these two strands of DNA are connected by nitrogen bases by nitrogen bonds. So what are the complementary pairs? Adenine, thymine is a complementary pair. Guanine and cytosine are the another complementary pair. The number of adenines is equal to number of thymine groups. Number of adenine groups is equal to number of thymine groups. Number of guanine groups is equal to number of cytosine groups. Because if you see the cytosine, you can see the guanine also. So number of adenine is equal to number of thymines, number of guanine is equal to number of cytosines. But the ratio of this at AT by GC ratio differs from from animal to animal. AT by GC ratio in case of humans is 1.52. In case of E. coli bacteria, this AT by GC ratio is 0.93. If this DNA contains more number of GC pairs, if this DNA contains more number of GC pairs, its melting point is somewhat high. Its melting point is somewhat high. Okay. So if more number of GC pairs are present, those DNAs have more melting point when compared with the other things. Now look at here, diameter of this double helical is 2 nanometers. The distance between these two strands is 2 nanometers. And the length of the complete rotation, the 360 degrees rotation of this DNA structure is nearly 3.4 nanometers. The complete rotation of this DNA will take nearly 3.4 nanometers length. So at 3.4 nanometer length distance, a 360 degrees rotation of these helical structures appears. Okay, this is the brief discussion of DNA. Now we will discuss about RNA, ribonucleic acid. So how RNA is formed? What is the functions of this RNA? So how a RNA is formed? How proteins are formed? All those things we are going to discuss. RNA contains a single strand. This strand also made with the sugar and phosphate groups. RNA contains a single strand. This strand also made with sugar and phosphate group. It also contains a single strand. This one also made with sugar and phosphate group. All the sugar moieties are bonded with nitrogen bases. These nitrogen bases, adenine, guanine, cytosine, thymine. So, sorry, like in DNA, RNA also contains nitrogen bases. But instead of instead of thymine, RNA contains uracil. Instead of thymine, RNA contains uracil nitrogen base. So, what are the nitrogen bases present in RNA? Adenine, guanine, cytosine, and uracil. This is the RNA. RNA contains a single strand. This strand also made with sugar and phosphate moieties. This one also is the polymer of nucleotides. So this is a nucleotide, sugar, phosphate, adenine, sugar, phosphate, nitrogen base. Again, sugar, phosphate, nitrogen base, sugar, phosphate, nitrogen base, sugar, phosphate, nitrogen base. All the contains. So this is a nucleotide. All these nucleotides polymerizes to give the RNA polymeric chain. So this is the structure of RNA. In RNA, there is no condition in such that number of adenine is equal to number of uracil groups. But in DNA, number of adenines is equal to thymine. A is equal to B, G is equal to C. But in RNA, we can see some RNAs have more amount of adenine group, some RNAs have less amount of adenine group. So there is no equality is there between these nitrogen bases. But in DNA, adenine content is equal to thymine, guanine content is equal to cytosine. But here you can't see the same proportion of different nitrogen bases. That is the one of the major difference. Now this RNA again of three types: mRNA, messenger RNA, next one is rRNA, ribosomal RNA, next one is tRNA, transfer RNA. So RNA of different types: mRNA, tRNA, rRNA. We will discuss about these different types of RNAs and their function in our biology. Here we don't have the discussion about all those things. We have a brief discussion about the protein synthesis, how a protein is formed. So now we are going to discuss about the protein synthesis. Look at here. The information about protein is stored in DNA in the form of nitrogen base. So proteins information is stored in DNA in the form of nitrogen base. Whenever we are trying to form a specific type of protein, at that time this DNA, part of DNA, not on the DNA, part of DNA, suppose I am taking from here to here, part of DNA is going to unfold, means all the nitrogen bases comes outside. Actually, where these nitrogen bases are present inside. Now what happens during the formation of protein chain? First, this DNA helical structure going to unfold, and the nitrogen bases are exposed outside. So first the thread is going to unfold. After that, this is the thread is going to unfold, uncoil. After that, all the nitrogen bases come outside. So suppose now the nitrogen bases comes outside like this. So this is the helical DNA. During formation of protein chain, this part is uncoiled. So this is the uncoiled form. After uncoiling, these nitrogen bases coming outside. So all these nitrogen bases are coming outside. So after this nitrogen bases coming outside, whatever the information stored on this DNA in the form of nitrogen bases are transcripted are replicated on RNA chain in the form of complementary pairs. So for thymine, what is the complementary pair? A. For cytosine, what is the complementary pair? G. For cytosine, what is the complementary pair? For guanine, what is the complementary pair? Cytosine. For adenine, what is the complementary pair? Thymine. Like this, on RNA, the DNA is going to replicate. Means its mirror image is created on RNA. This guanine is there, its mirror image cytosine. You don't tell its mirror image, tell that one as complementary pair. So its complementary pair is created on RNA. So this process is known as replication. So first DNA, from DNA the information is replicated on RNA. The information is replicated on RNA. Sorry. So the information is first DNA information is replicated and forms a duplicate DNA. That means uncoiled DNA. This uncoiled DNA information is printed on RNA strand as a complementary pairs. These complementary pairs are known as transcription. This process is known as transcription. Sorry, this is known as transcription. The complementary pairs are formed on RNA chain. This process is transcription. After transcription, translation takes place in amino acid granulation. A3, 1, 2, 3. A3 nitrogen base, a 3 nitrogen base on RNA strand is called a codon. The 3 nitrogen base on RNA strand is called a codon. Each codon represents an amino acid. Each codon represents an amino acid. So after transcription, the RNA's nitrogen bases information is translated in the form of amino acids. In the form of amino acids. These amino acid polymerizes to give protein chain. So this is the formation of protein. So first what happens? DNA is forming. So this process, this uncoiling, all those things is known as the replication. It forms a duplicated DNA. So this DNA information is transcripted into an RNA in the form of nitrogen bases. After that, on ribosomal RNA, this RNA information, whatever the information is present in the form of RNA, is translated into amino acid forms. During this translation, three amino acids combinedly taken as a codon. Each codon represents an amino acid. These amino acids combines to form a protein chain. So this is about the RNA. Now we have to discuss about the biological functions of this DNA. So our genetical information is carried from one generation to another generation through DNA. Basing on this, DNA fingerprinting techniques are there. By using this DNA fingerprinting techniques, we can identify the parents. All the information are stored as nitrogen bases. These nitrogen bases information are passed from one generation to another generation through this DNA. So this is about nucleic acids. Next topic is different types of hormones, all those things. Our next topic is hormones. These hormones are cell messengers, cellular messengers. So these are secreted by some tissues present in our body. The glands are known as endocrine glands or ductless glands. The hormones which are secreted by these glands, these ductless glands, are endocrinal glands, directly releases into our bloodstream and transfers the chemical messages from one cell to another cell throughout our body. These hormones are broadly divided into two types: steroidal hormones, non-steroidal hormones. Again, these steroidal hormones are of two types: sexual hormones and corticosteroids. Sexual hormones are again of three types: male sexual hormones, female sexual hormones, pregnancy hormones. Male sexual hormones are androgens. We have so many types of androgens are there. Commonly they are known as androgens. One of the androgen is testosterone. These are male sexual hormones, androgens. One of the androgen is testosterone. These androgens are responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters in males. Female sexual hormones are estradiol and estrogens. Again, we have different types of hormones are there: estradiol and estrogens. These female sexual hormones, estrogen and estradiol, are responsible for the development of secondary sexual characters in females. Next one is pregnancy hormones. One of the pregnancy hormone is progesterone. This progesterone prepares the uterus for the implantation of fertilized egg. Now come to the corticosteroidal hormones. These corticosteroidal hormones are of two types: mineralocorticoids, glucocorticoids. secreted by adrenal cortex. These two are secreted by cortex, adrenal cortex, secreted by adrenal cortex. Mineralocorticoids maintain the balance of sodium chloride in our bloodstream. That means they maintain the BP. So these mineralocorticoids maintain the mineral levels like sodium chloride level, potassium levels. All these are maintained by this mineralocorticoid hormones. Glucocorticoid hormones. These glucocorticoid hormones are also secreted by adrenal cortex. This one maintains the carbohydrate mechanism. Carbohydrate mechanism means how much glucose have to be converted into energy forms. All those things are decided by this glucocorticoid hormones. If this one is not secreted well, if whatever the food you take, whatever the glucose is present in our blood, it does not generate the energy. And the next function is modulate the inflammatory reaction. Modulate the inflammatory reaction. It changes the pain effects, inflammatory reactions, the swelling, all those things. When wound occurs, some swelling will take place. All those things are controlled by this glucocorticoid. Next one is non-steroidal hormones. These non-steroidal hormones are again of two types: peptide hormones and amino acid derivatives. First, we will look at the amino acid derivatives. One of the amino acid derivative is thyroxine. This thyroxine is secreted by thyroxine gland. This amino acid derivative thyroxine is the amino acid derivative of thyrronine. Thyrronine and amino acid is there. That thyrronine, when undergoes a few modifications, it changes into thyroxine hormone. This is an amino acid derivative. What is the amino acid derivative of this thyroxine? Thyrronine. This amino acid derivative, this thyroxine gland, is the pace setter of the metabolism. This is the pace setter of all these hormones. If thyroxine is released in less quantities, in those persons, we can see obesity. If it is low if it is released in low amounts, we can see the obesity. If it released in higher amounts, we can see the lean persons. Okay. If it releases very less quantities, in those persons, obesity occurs. If it is releasing in excess amounts, those persons become lean. Whatever the food they taken, they become simply lean. So these are the amino acid derivatives. Now come to the peptide hormones. Peptide hormones are the polymers of amino acids. One of the example is insulin. In insulin, we can see two peptide chains like this. Two peptide chains. We can see two peptide chains. One of the peptide chain contains 21 amino acid. Another peptide chain contains 30 amino acid. These peptide chains are connected by disulfide bondings. These peptide chains are connected by disulfide bondings at cysteine amino acid. At cysteine amino acid. So that these two peptide chains will not move one away from another. Sulfide bondings are there, and another sulfide bonding also present in 21 amino acid chain. Another disulfide bonding also present in 21 amino acid chain. So total how many disulfide bondings we can see? 3 disulfide bondings are there, which are bonded by cysteine amino acid. So one of the peptide chain is of the length of 21 amino acid. Another peptide chain is length of 30 amino acid. These two peptide chains are connected by disulfide bondings. Another disulfide bonding is present in 21 peptide chain. This insulin is secreted by cells present in pancreas, the islet cells. These islet cells, from islet cells, we can separate the insulin. This insulin maintains the glucose levels in our body. It decreases the glucose levels in our body, hence it is known as hypoglycemic factor. Decreasing in insulin in our body causes diabetes mellitus, a disease, simply diabetes. So, decreasing the insulin levels in our body causes diabetes. This insulin will maintain the glucose level in our body, hence it is it is also called as hypoglycemic factor. Another peptide hormone is glucagon. This glucagon increases the blood glucose levels in our body. So this is about hormones. The next part in this one is enzymes and vitamins. We will discuss that one in the next class. Thank you for this one.